Alright, welcome everyone. We're currently doing a... Hold on, one sec. We're currently doing a quick level up moment. We also started like an hour late compared to usual because we had a deep heart-to-heart with everyone. But yeah, currently just leveling up, and we'll start in like a couple minutes. Yeah, she I'm still on the black screen, don't worry about it. Yeah, we are allowed to level up to level 4, Kira. Now, quick reminder, how does the health work again on level up? Is it just the max hit dice? Don't worry about it, it's just a normal hit dice, it's a D10, so it's D10 plus con. Got it. I thought it was fixed health. To be fair. Wait, hold on. Oh yeah. So I should fix my health. Hey, Crash. Just a quick scenes switch. And now, oh. Condolences on the cat, by the way. I saw it, but it never responded to anything. Just thought maybe you'd rather have it left alone for a bit. Whoops. I should stand up and stretch. My bad. I was writing things down because of we're doing a quick level up. Let's see. So the fixed health is just max health of the hit dice. No, I'm sorry, I'm stupid. She did not. She only bent Sentinel.
Consider. Here's what I will say. If y'all would rather be able to take Lucky, y'all can take Lucky. I will not unban Sentinel. I will take that to my fucking grave. I hate Sentinel.
What's Sentinel do?
Sentinel is called. Oh, you want to have a mobile enemy? Nah, fuck you. Sorry, go ahead.
No, so Sentinel is.
That's how you really feel, Milo.
Ignore when people take the disengage action.
And you can also take an attack of opportunity when they enter.
When you take an no, so that is Polearm Master. Sentinel, you can take an attack of opportunity. Regardless of circumstance.
Yeah, that's why she bans it, because Polearm Mastery plus Sentinel is just you're not moving.
My big stick says no.
But
okay.
Yeah, and then when you successfully hit a creature with an opportunity attack, their movement becomes 0. And also, if a creature within 5 feet of you makes an attack against an ally that does not have Sentinel, you can make an attack against that creature. But of note, the attack that you make for that does not count as an opportunity attack. So it does not render. So it's.
So it doesn't count as a reaction.
Well, it counts as your reaction, but it doesn't count to reduce the creature's speed to 0. So there are ways around the locked it. Like if you have more than one person with Sentinel, yes, it gets stupid, and essentially your best course of action is enemies that teleport, or just so many goddamn enemies that it's not worth it.
And that's the thing. It's one of those things of, for me, if someone ran Sentinel, I would have to build a lot. Like, I would have to consider it in every encounter. And I guess that's how I feel about certain feats and why I banned them. Is like everything that I've banned has in a game before that I've played in felt game defining to me, where the rest of the game has to rotate around that feature. And it can be okay situationally, but Sentinel is so consistently influential in how I would have to build encounters. And that's, again, I will say, I like, especially in the DMs in the group, y'all could disagree with me and that would be very fair. That's my feelings about Sentinel. So that's why I banned it, because I simply don't like it. Like, I just don't like having to, every encounter that I build, consider, how will I avoid this enemy being fucked by Sentinel? You know, if it's an enemy that, like, counts on any kind of mobility, which part of it is I also enjoy running mobile enemies as part of it. Like, I enjoy running things that try to kite you. For example, you know, like, I ran the sorcerer who would teleport between pillars, and you had to be like, oh, how do we get this fucker off this pillar? You know, like, I enjoy doing things like that. Which, granted, if he is on a 25 power, because you can't handle with Sentinel in the first place, you get the point. Like, you get, it's...
Other than that, I've mostly slept and just been playing
also,
games.
I've posted the scout reports. Are they probably the best written thing I've ever written? No, because there's a possibility that I come out with a much more longer, better, in-character written version later, but I've decided I'd rather give this version to you fuckers than have you receive absolutely nothing, which is what's happened so far. So, again, raise your objections as you may, but that is, so, feel free to read over those, or even if you wish, you know, find a time to discuss them in character, you can also use that to bond over, you know, strategize or whatnot.
Just random note, that they did a one-shot for the session last weekend, so I played and Deanna didn't, and I just find it really funny that two completely separate games in a row, I wound up dealing with a Doofenshmirtz.
Wait, are you kidding me? How did they do it? You have to tell me about this.
Oh, it was.
I'm sorry, we're putting D&D on hold.
It was just the Doofenshmirtz castle. So it was just.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, like, it wasn't even from the. It was a generic map, but the DM just kept calling it Doofenshmirtz's castle, and I'm just like. For as prevalent as this is in my life, I'm still not gonna watch Phineas and Ferb ever.
No, that's fair. At the end of the day, it's a fun character. Okay, I will say,
quick things.
Yes, quick things. Go ahead. Nope. Thank you for interrupting me. Yeah. Go ahead.
Was that a yes or no on fixed health just being max roll?
Fixed health is not max roll. Fixed should be, I want to say, like the better side of half. So for a D10, it should be a 6, I believe, or is it a 5?
Like
no, it's a 6 because it's half. Because the dice is 1 plus 10, 11 divided by 2, 5.5 is average. So you take the 6. Okay.
Thank you. Yep. So take 6.
I've got all my stuff done.
Okay.
Got my level up done.
Start the YouTube watch party. I'm so prepared. So fucking prepared. I want to start using the RB axolotl music, but at the same time, I feel like it's just gonna. Oh, the only other person who would traumatize can't even hear it. No, I'll use our usual starting music. Eventually, gonna condition all of my groups to be like, this is the music that means we're starting soon. I have to set up the watch party though. Do.
So we're finally starting.
And then yes, does everyone have their like characters leveled up mechanically and whatnot?
I just need to know one more spell.
Yeah.
Sounds good. No worries. In the meantime, you all can also start thinking about if there is anyone who would like to do the recap. And this I know will never be that willing of a thing, but it encourages at least one of you fuckers to take good notes. So.
Real quick,
I have the best
take a long
notes.
Rest?
Yes.
Did we take a long rest at the end?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are allowed to have taken a long rest.
Milo,
because
you're talking mad shit for someone that knows that I have the best notes.
I mean, yeah, but then you should, volunteer to do the recap, obviously. I'm so glad you volunteered to do today's recap. Thank you so much, Asa. I look forward to your rendition of last time's session.
Need to, I will be muted for a bit. I will be back and forth. I do need to make food real quick.
You're good. Long. No worries at all.
Okay.
But Milo, I published the notes. Everyone can see the notes. They just have to sit through it all.
Well, I'm so glad you bragged about taking good notes so you can do today's recap.
Shit. Now I need to focus on 2 things. Because I also still need
Great.
So, do you want the TLDR version or the explicit version? Because the explicit
It can
version...
be any version. The funny version, by the way, also humorous recaps. Just in case this changes anyone's mind, humorous and semi-inaccurate recaps are also honestly permissible. You just have to try. So yeah, go for it. Although,
Now,
wait, do your character thing first.
Yeah, okay.
Or, if anyone else wants to, but it's okay.
Trying to make character tokens that actually look like my characters, and I have made the characters, but I cannot make them into tokens because I am dumb.
I can also make new tokens on my side if you want. I have to go through and look at everyone's shit. But as always, if you send me pictures, I'm more than happy to make tokens.
Okay. Thing is, I change mine like every session
19.
because I change
Fair.
my appearance.
Hello,
And-
but essentially
Fair.
we're
I
making what
know when I
use.
have it and I don't know how to.
Quite
and it's not
hastily.
working.
How is it
Right.
not?
I'm more interested in the ultimate.
Let's see.
Pause. I'm going to go.
I'll give you.
help her.
Sounds good. It's all good. I feel a little bad for Asa stream, but at the same time, I'm like honestly just not pressed about tonight. Like I'm kind of like, we'll get through some stuff. Like honestly, how do I explain this? We got through the part that I was most stressed about, so everything else is kind of like, it's all good. Honestly, like I'm not pressed about it.
Okay, so I am going to give it a TLDR version.
Sure.
Just because that way I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's okay. Go for it. I believe in you. You're doing great.
So we started today. We all woke up. We went to visit Rixt. That's his name, right, from the kid?
Yes.
We told him we were heading out. We tried to find his mom or something. Then we went into a tunnel where we went butt to butt, or very closely huddled together, into a hallway where we tried to light a door on fire, but instead just opened it and triggered a trap. And I believe James got hit in the head with a firework. Let's see. There was a pitfall trap there as well. If I remember correctly, it was again James that fell into the trap. With Rap already being other side. Diana's character, which I can't remember which of the names it was, also making it nicely across. Glor jumping across gloriously. And trying to Yes, thank you.
I honestly can't remember either.
Yeah. And then
I think I started out as Fia.
and then Aga tried to assist Effect by throwing him over the pit, which didn't go too well. So Effect Misty stepped to the other side, and then Aga gloriously jumped across and landed on his face. Then we encountered Dr. Doofenshmirtz, who then decided to switch all our minds. Almost all our minds. The group then did a puzzle, and Aga just stood there like a lemming, not doing anything. And then we beat the shit out of Doofenshmirtz and Mickey's magical brooms.
Thank you. This was a very accurate recap. Okay. So, I have to figure out... Perfect. There we go. Okay. I realize since y'all took a long rest, I could technically pull the one person for the one-on-one, but I'm not gonna worry about it. I'll do it later. Sorry, Evan. Love you, bud. Okay. I'm not muted. I saw the little rocket icon and I was like, I'm fucking muted. I'm not fucking muted. We're good. So, you all... Okay, I should say, are we ready to start D&D, more or less? At least a description of D&D.
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. You all having likely just sort of collapsed, or, exhausted after your arduous battle with Dufen's Mertz, Grand Sorcenator, have, decided, to rest in his lair. And after gaining the benefits of a long rest, you all awaken in this deep underground cave. You are surrounded by, rather, of course, the same scene that you left off on, the pillars, the remnants of brooms that seem quite no longer magical, and of course, the delightful buckets of acid that they were carrying. And although no sunlight streams through, there is, of course, the faint glow of mushrooms to light the morning, as well as, of course, what seems to be now a quite ordinary fountain. What do you all do as you wake up?
I look at my hands.
As soon as I wake up, for one thing, I am now, I have short white hair and gray skin and silver eyes. And I'm immediately going to look at Glor and kind of look him over and see that there's not something on there that that is supposed to be on there. And then look around and try to get my bearings. Because I am not where I thought I would be.
Of course. I think I sent this in the Roll20, so I didn't forget, but Ega, roll me perception for looking at your hands. What would Evect and James do as they woke up?
Evect would honestly be kind of melancholy at this point, just kind of getting up a little slowly, just like not very obviously, but just investigating, like just patting down his prosthetic arm, and then just for shits and giggles going and taking another drink from the fountain.
All right. Roll me a luck check. And Ega, as you glance at your hands, you see pretty thick, strong hands. They look like your hands. You do appear to see in front of you thine own hands with thine own fingies and palms.
Luck check was a 10.
As you drink from the fountain, it is quite clear and refreshing, with no issues at all, and at the same time, as it goes down, you don't feel any glimmer of magic as you did perhaps before when you returned to your own body. It seems an unremarkable fountain.
Should, yeah, okay, I have all those active scenes, the right one. Cool.
Would you all also say anything, it's worth noting, as you get up, or are you all sort of perhaps recovering from the last day? So
is there any change in my key ring?
is there any change in your keyring? Roll me a perception check for the entire keyring and everything on it.
Uh-oh.
And I will ask, are you taking it out to do so?
Yes.
To inspect
Well,
it?
to touch at least the keyring part.
But are you taking it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I believe this will also be the first time I see what's dangling from it.
So, will you describe to the group what the keyring looks like and what happens? Although for a 3, you don't get shit for your perception check.
Yeah, okay. So...
Fuck your perception. Give me flavor, bitch.
Can't have
Flavor
shit in
count.
perception check.
So, the moment I wake up, you basically... If you look in my general direction, you see me grab out a old rusty keyring. And there's only actually a... Hold on. The description is somewhere here. A small purple glowing crystal hanging from it. And that's actually kind of it, because, I mean, yeah, I'm just glad that the keyring's still there.
It appears to, by the way, be its normal, well, I should say, I guess, keyring self, would be what I would say. Everything is as per normal with that.
Alright. Now, since I see the crystal for the first time, I'm gonna touch it.
Okay. Roll me an... I'm gonna say this is an insight check.
You know, for someone that's paranoid, I have terrible insight.
You know, it's all right. You're not a people person. You're just a spooky little thing.
It's oh yeah, should say it. A 9.
And I will say, as someone who is slightly paranoid in real life, terrible insight kind of causes paranoia pretty easily. So
Fair enough.
That's valid and
It
realistic.
does make sense. I have terrible
As
insight, and I'm
someone
paranoid
with,
as shit.
As someone with anxiety disorder, I can agree to this 100%. Yes, in fact, it's all caused by poor insight.
Hey,
It's-
anxiety disorder
Ignoring
gang!
red flag.
Buspar gang! I don't know if
Let's
anyone else is on Buspar,
go.
but I'm on Buspar.
Is
Buspar gang!
that our party name? Anxiety Gang?
Anxiety gang.
Gang. All right, let me just change that from Mind Flayers. Anxiety gang. We're here. Some of us are queer, and we're ruled by fear.
Let's go.
Uh,
That's what the mind flayers are. They rule by fear, so there you go.
we're actually just 3 Mind Flayers in a trench coat, but we're all ruled by anxiety. We're just all talking to each other like, do you think they looked at us funny? No, I don't know. Oh, we better get out of here. Tried to do
Trying
the, like,
to not
tentacles.
be the one in charge.
Oh my god, I know, right? Who would possibly take on being in charge? Imagine trying to be in charge of something actively. Oh, I could never. Anyway, for a 9... Alright, I'm gonna briefly drag you into the other voice channel.
Okie dokie.
Because, yeah, hold on, come here.
And like that.
Wait, oh, it broke. Oh no, you gotta be shitting me.
Bless.
I have
It-
a weird
so-
magical key.
There.
What's up?
Sorry, it broke. It didn't hear anything the moment you dragged me over. I'm sorry.
Hey, no, it's okay, it's okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Otherwise, I wouldn't respond.
Okay, great. So, I think I've described the keyring as being warm before, right? Or possibly?
Yeah, warm, alive.
So, the keyring probably has a bit of warmth to it. The crystal is like body temperature. Basically, if I've described the keyring as feeling warm and alive, this is more so. You almost even feel maybe a faint fluttering, like a heartbeat from within. And it feels... The crystal feels quite familiar. It almost feels like a casual sort of brush with, like, if you've ever sort of just briefly like touched the skin of someone that you know, like I hate to say this because it sounds weird in this context, but like
Ow.
if you've ever like brushed past Miri and you're like, ah yes, that's Miri. It's sort of like that.
Okay.
Okay, that's all. Bye.
Okay.
Weird, yeah.
Welcome back to the jungle. Also, I think the activity stopped, so I should start it again.
Yep.
Okay. So, Ega has taken out his keyring and appears to be peering at this crystal upon it. Evect has gone and taken a sip from the fountain. I will note, just so that you all sort of have a sense of bearing of your surroundings or a reminder of such, that, of course, you all had traveled down one leg of a tunnel to get here, with, of course, if you were sort of thinking about eventually when you want to leave, where you go from here, there is a door from which the brooms came, that if anyone wanted to investigate, they certainly could. And aside from that, of course, there is the way you came, including back into this grand, large, underdark cavern, and also a fork the other way. But for now, you all, of course, are in the main room. Would anyone else be doing anything, or, of course, talking to each other,
Wait a minute.
aside from these things?
Y'all don't think this is the fountain the kid was talking about? Is it?
I'm sorry. I'm not sure what's going on. I don't remember the last few days. The character that you're seeing, by the way, is the person that you actually met at the very beginning of this, and I'm pretty sure they have not come up again. So yeah. I apologize. I don't remember what's been going on the last few days.
Weird talk, but I've seen weirder. The kid we rescued the other day. They said the mother or auntie looking for a fountain just like this. Suppose this is it, or just a sham? Is something this weird duty guy try to replicate?
So this mother has gone missing?
Gone missing? That's why we're out here in the first place, aye?
Okay. Okay. Well, if this is the fountain, there doesn't seem to be anyone around. Other than us.
Shit, how would Ega say this? No eternal youth? Because I think that was what the fountain was for eternal youth or something, or...
That's what I thought the
And I mean,
that's what James thought the fountain was. They supposed it was a potential fountain of eternal youth.
Yeah, and
but that was never confirmed.
Yeah. I mean, you're not eternal young, right? Because Ega
never felt eternal young for
God
knows how long.
Because me shove your head in.
I'll get my revenge.
Oh. You think? Yeah. No.
Well, if we're supposed to be finding this woman, then should we keep looking for her?
Probably clear the area first, make sure she's not already here. If she's not, wrong fountain.
All right.
Or perhaps
So
she found the fountain and moved on.
Anyone who wants to, how do I put this? Think of whether the woman might have been here could roll me, I'm just gonna say an intelligence check, or aside from that, if anyone would like to investigate the fountain, of course they may. Of course, only so much can be gleaned about it ordinarily, but one could either make a perception, or sorry, not a perception, investigation or arcana check. There is also, of course, the doors that the brooms came out of in terms of the immediate area, which have not been explored yet. If anyone wants to do sort of a general clearing of the area, I can tell you that the room that you're in appears to be empty.
I'd like to investigate the fountain specifically for signs that, well, no. I just want to investigate the fountain.
So
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to roll me an investigation check.
A 13 on that flat int check that you were asking for.
Woman likely weak, not fighter. Wizard scary, much acid. She likely not come here. If she here, she may be dead. Sad. Sad for child.
Lots of
child die alone now without mother. Not think about that too hard. That too sad. Woman probably not here. If here, maybe dead.
No body. Lots of acid.
No body. Acid? Or not here.
Can I just say, Milo, I love so much when you use Egga's voice to describe intelligence checks.
Thank you. I mean, again, you know, you can tell me if it's wrong, Asa, but I'm always like, yes.
Caveman brain, yes.
Egga think about things. How do I tap into the mind, or, well, lack thereof, sitting within that delightful little cranium.
Got an 18 on investigation of the fountain.
18 on investigation. Okay. So upon investigating the fountain, you could notice a couple of things about it. One is that the fountain seems a lot older than some of the other things constructed in this room. So, for example, how do I explain this? If you sort of just looked around at essentially, like, you know, some of the things that presumably Doofenshmirtz constructed, how do I explain this? They've likely been constructed in the past 50 to 100 years. The fountain, based on the lichens growing on it, based on the depth of its carvings having been worn away perhaps by water over time, it's certainly much
I do
older.
love it when she uses that voice.
It bears no inscription or even a lot of carvings on the side, for example. You can sort of make out decorative pieces, but you definitely don't see any fountain of life or youth type imagery on it.
Is there any sort of flat surface that may hold hidden text?
That is a very good point. I'm going to ask if it's all right. Roll me your separate investigation roll, if you will, for the fountain. If James is also investigating the fountain.
Okay. Ah, shit. Bad news, everyone. I ain't finding shit in that one.
James is so invested in trying to find a flat surface on this fountain that he accidentally dunks his head under the fountain and has to pull away spluttering. No, you're okay.
You're good. I just sorry.
The waters are quite clear, but don't seem to be extraordinary in any way. It seems to be sort of just fresh spring water, perhaps. It's quite cold. You could note that based on the coldness of the water, actually, what did you get? What was your roll? Sorry, Deanna.
Mine? Oh, sorry. It was an 18.
An 18, yes. You could note that based on the coldness of the water and the way that it's flowing, it is likely that this fountain has another source. Like there's fountains that are like, how do I put this? Like sort of self-contained. Like there's water, the water comes in and goes out and goes in. Like, you know, like, can you picture what I'm talking about? If I ever ask that, by the way, it's because I think I make no sense to myself while I'm talking, not because I think y'all are stupid. This likely is sourcing water from perhaps somewhere deeper in the ground. It's very cold, and the flow is such that, like, if you look at the physics of it, it doesn't look like the fountain is entirely contained and circular, especially based on the temperature.
Oh, so I actually dumped James's head into pretty damn cold water.
Yeah, why do you think he's so pissed, Egga? Egga?
No one wanted to drink the water.
Except I already drank it.
No, this was end of last session.
Yeah. I dunked my face into it. Well, their face into it. No, and doing the exact thing I should have done. Well, not doing the exact thing I should have done, which was actually, you know, drink.
Got there in the end.
Got there in the end.
So, of course, there are a couple people investigating the fountain. Finn, and James. And then I did also hear talks about clearing the area. What would other characters be doing at this point or after investigating Le Fountain?
I'm going to remember that I have infusions. That's what I'm gonna do.
Sounds like a great plan. You do that.
I'm
you.
going to try and replicate what I could do as James, which is cast ice knife at a random pillar. And
Okay.
here's the thing: 4th level feat, I took 1st level spellcasting, so I actually managed to cast ice knife at a pillar.
Impressive.
Describe this. You must describe this
So-
to me. You must describe how this occurs.
So, as with last session, where Aga would just focus on his hand and suddenly an ice knife pops out. So what he's doing again, but now in his own body instead of in James's body, is again stand there, his hand stretched out, thinking very deeply, and all of a sudden an ice knife pops out. And he shoots it at this pillar because it's the furthest away from people.
I just
Roll-
did magic?
Yep.
You see me just pat
Oh,
myself
fuck.
down real quick, like, am I sure I'm back?
Yeah, the rest of you would see Ega raise a hand towards this pillar and basically go, from what I am understanding, correct me if the noise is wrong, but sort of a constipated and then, like, a ice knife flies towards the pillar.
So that's a 16 to hit the pillar.
You hit the pillar, roll damage. What do the rest of y'all do upon seeing Ega, you know, do, like, magic?
Because I got a 2 on my reaction check, I kind of feel like I stumble backwards into the fountain.
Finn, who was in
Sploosh.
Finn, who was infusing a few items, and is still quite lost, is going to kind of jump and like stand to attention and what's going on? Is the pillar and why
I did it!
why are we attacking the pillar?
There's a yelp and a sploosh from behind, as Evac falls into the fountain also.
I'll just kind of glance back and
Aye.
okay, you're fine.
I just tried. It worked.
Okay.
Congratulations. You did what took me 20 years to do. In 5 seconds.
I got smart!
Ouch.
Roll me a deception check.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Egg and not smart.
An 11. You know, the rest of you think that there could be more than lies beneath the surface of this, shall we say, rather simplistic brute.
I mean, to be fair, with an 11, he's got me fooled.
Avex
gonna-
now believes, at least a little bit, Ega smart.
Finn doesn't necessarily believe Ega smart, but Finn has no reason not to believe that Ega could do magic before this, so Finn is just confused why we're attacking the pillar. And probably looking a lot more dumb than they actually are. Because confused.
I'm gonna go investigate where the brooms came from. I want to know.
Sounds good. So,
I'm just standing there gloating that I could do magic. That's new.
as Ega stands there having an ego, fuck, maps
I'll
work.
help evict out of the fountain.
And my immaculate shiny armor is not really helpful with getting water off, but I'm going to use the Cloak of Billowing to kind of shake itself
I was gonna say,
eventually
you probably
dry
billow.
after a very, very, very long time.
Or I could just use prestidigitation and dry you instantly.
Would Finn do that?
Yes. It is
So-
logical, therefore.
Avex gets out and sort of just starts doing the wet dog thing with his cloak, like,
and Finn just...
then Finn is just like, eh. I tried to mimic as best I could, and Evict finds that his cloak is instantly dry.
Would you just dry the cloak or all of me?
all of you.
That you are, in fact, entirely dry.
Yes.
Convenient, but now I can't properly sulk.
I mean, the fountain is right there. If you feel the need to be wet, I won't dry you again.
I'll help.
Which point I splash water in Ega's general direction. No, thank you. You helped enough last time.
Okie doke.
So, as you all are fucking about with the fountain and such, James is going to head over to investigate the room from whence the brooms came. The room of the brooms. The brooms from the. There was a satisfying alliteration there, and then I mucked it up too much by talking. Which I have tentatively drawn here, and also I'm too lazy to like redraw the full thing, so like no. As always. Okay. Okay.
What was that?
That was the magic drawing song.
That was the song of the YouTube has decided to fuck me in the ass.
Oh.
Probably turn the swear word warning on Twitch.
Don't worry, I'm
Because
on mature
you meant to
audiences.
make playback limit, playback will resume. Okay, YouTube. Well, I guess we're going back to ye olden days of whatever, me streaming the ambiance on, God, what did I have to pull this up on? Fucking Firefox? God, fuck my whole entire life. Ahem.
Let us know how you really feel, Milo.
God, I want the YouTube to work. I want it to work.
Only if copyright claimers would just not exist.
Yeah, that's true. Can't even get the bitch with Nitro to run it because you can't listen to it. Anyway. Well, fuck it. I'll start in the ambiance in a minute. As James goes to investigate the back room, Roll me a perception check as he enters.
That is going to be 22.
22. Oh, excuse me. Okay. There's ads. I'm sitting through the ads because I don't have ad block on Edge, because I can't stream it regularly on Chrome, because why do I have to try so hard to get around everything? Okay. Everything's fine. I think that works. If it doesn't work, I'll just cry. Does it work?
I don't think so.
I hope it fucking Firefox. Oh, fuck. Okay. Fantastic. Great. Well, while I work on that in the background, or we wait out the tent, and fuck it, we'll just wait out the fucking playback limit. I'll buy Nitro later. Discord. Anyway. As James goes to the room of the brooms, he would see a couple more things, which includes... Wait, but I thought you can't run it because copyright.
Hold on. Give me a sec.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like that. And then if someone joins it, I can just leave it, right? And it will be still up.
Oh, I've reached my max playback limit. So this is a me thing for my account. Oh.
Does it still work, or do I have to stay in there? Because I'll just mute the YouTube thing inside then.
I guess this is a me issue, so the question is, if I start the activity again and try to run it, can I run it, or can it... What?
We believe in you, Milo.
I try so hard, but then... Okay.
Great.
I guess we'll wait 5 minutes for more ambiance. Until then, you all can deal with silence and sadness. Not just silence, my internal rage seething. So, what Jamais sees, and yes, I will pronounce your name that way. By the way, I guess I should clarify. The other wall is like the same wall. Like this is the wall. Like there. Like there you go. That's a wall. That's definitely a very straight wall. Inside there are a couple of interesting things. There's like some brooms and shit. That's definitely a very good drawing of a broom. Yep. Broom. Yes, fantastic. You get the point. I don't have to draw more of these painful looking sticks. That was really just not even worth it. So, will I delete that one? You get the point. There's brooms. Worth noting is that they are quite stationary and unalive. How to explain this? That's a word that makes sense, and then because of TikTok and my mind, and I'm like, oh, hold on. Anyway, they're not alive and moving around. They're sort of just, sitting there as brooms do. Other things to note in this room include buckets, which I will definitely draw at least as well as the brooms. Yep, that's a great bucket. Look at that bucket. That's a bucket right there. They are real buckets and don't look like a kindergartner drew them. Bet. Yeah, sorry, you can move James in. And in the center of the room is, like, sort of right here, like a little, essentially pool, which appears to be full of bubbling acid. You could infer that the brooms were likely filling their buckets from this pool. There also, I will say, there is also a shelf with some sort of like, it'd be like probably like over here, with sort of like some regular ass like janitorial supplies. Like it's like an open shelf so you can see it. Like you just see sort of some probably quite regular cleaning supplies. You could probably spy some sort of likely perhaps acidic cleaner, like some sort of bleach type analog. No, I don't know what medieval bleach would be. You can sue me. I'll figure it out if you decide you care enough about it. Some rags, things like that. But yeah, brooms, buckets, pool of bubbling green acid, and then a shelf over there. I will say these are the only intact brooms if you wished to inspect them. Or otherwise, if there's anything that you or others would like to look at in the room, although you are currently the only one in it, let me know.
I'll toss a broom into the acid.
You will toss a broom into the acid.
I want to see what it does.
So, as you go to grab a broom and yeet it into ye ol' acid pool, you would notice that the broom floats to the surface, seemingly quite unharmed.
Dun, dun.
You may know that normal wood you cannot typically throw into a pool of bubbling acid and have it just sort of vibe there like a middle-aged mother on the lazy river at the community center. And yet, this broom appears to do just that.
I resemble that remark, and I don't appreciate it.
I'm sorry, but it's true.
I know it is. That's why I said it.
Is the handle able to be detached from the base of the broom?
By the
Or is
handle,
it
you mean
all
like
one solid thing?
the
is the
the
rod
stick,
able to
like
be,
the shaft?
Can I
Don't-
take the
I like
stick-
that motion.
No!
Can I take the stick out of the broom bit?
Can you take the stick out of the
Or is it one,
little
or is
sticks?
it one big thing? Is it one big thing?
So, from looking at least the other brooms, so you probably couldn't look at the broom, currently doing this in the acid
Yeah,
too
probably one
closely.
of the other ones.
But-
Probably one of the other ones.
How would I put this? It's not like a modern detachable broom. Like it is. It
It's
is.
his broom.
They are sort of one piece, but you could likely guess that you could probably sever it. Like how do I like it's. You could definitely like
gonna
saw it
yeah, I'm
apart or
gonna-
sever it.
I'm gonna snap the rod off the base.
Okay.
And I'm gonna
Are
keep that on
you-
me.
Trying to do that with pure strong, basically?
Do I mean, I don't really have any... I can use...
do that
I
strength
don't know
roll,
how well a
come on.
scimitar is gonna help me, but I have a scimitar.
I mean, technically it's just a rope binding on the bottom right.
How are brooms constructed? By the way, I will say for the rest of you, y'all have noticed after a while that James, like would notice that James appeared to have gone back into the broom room, and you currently no longer see him. Hiccups. How is a broom constructed?
Things you didn't think that you'd ever have.
Oh, I've googled weirder for D&D. Don't worry. How products are made? How does broom work? Yeah, I guess it's kind of like a rope binding. So I guess you could probably just slash the rope binding would be the easiest way.
Alright.
Like when I'm looking at this, I see like, yeah.
Alright, so I'm gonna take just the rod of the broom. I'm gonna keep that with me.
Just the rod of the broom. Just the shaft. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. Roll
And-
me.
Oh.
I'm just gonna say like, if you're trying to just like snap it, probably athletics. Otherwise, if you're trying to use like your sword, which you could just sort of try and cut the ropes, you could
yeah,
just make
I'll
like
use a sword to cut
a
it.
weapon attack, like just
Yeah. Just roll attack.
Yeah. What would the rest of you be doing during this time, by the way,
Cool.
if anything in particular?
I would probably head over to see what's going on with James.
Question: what's the armor class of rope?
Good
I mean,
question.
what did you roll?
9.
That's fine. I mean, if you
Okay.
rolled a nat 1, you were gonna, maybe put a finger in
Cut my
danger.
arm off.
Okay, not like that. Okay, I'm not that mean. Jesus
I mean,
Christ, people.
Yeah,
It
just
is
do
a
2
possibility.
Y'all think I'm so cruel. God, I'm really not that bad. God dirt. Jesus on a cracker. Anyway, what was I talking about?
What were we
Yes.
doing?
Finger, rope, sword, broom, acid, mom. Yes. Okay. Mother? Fuck. Fuck, what was I talking about? God damn you people!
Does a 13 cut the rope binding
yes,
the
the
broom?
13 cuts the ropes, the 9 would. You can cut the rope, you can take the rod. The rod is yours. I will say, would you inspect the rod?
Yeah, I'll inspect it.
You would notice essentially beneath the binding that you cut that there are a couple of small runes that appear to be carved into the wood.
I'm keeping that.
As Finn walks in, remind me of Finn's pronouns real quick, sorry.
They, them?
Okay, that's what I thought. Sorry, I had a moment of, okay. As they walk in, they see James basically hacking off the rope binding of one of the brooms and then going to stash the broom handle rod stick thing.
Is there a reason you needed a broom handle?
Oh, you know.
I don't...
It could be in handy. They were magical after all. Who knows?
Okay.
It could turn into something. Could turn into something later. Find a nice woodworker, blacksmith. Good magical weapon. This.
I suppose that's fair. If you want to call it a staff, I may be able to, Oh, can I? Wait. Just a second. I may be able to make it a little bit more effective. If you want to use it as a weapon.
Thinking of something a little more discreet.
Okay.
Doofenshmirtz Nunchucks Incorporated.
Talking about Doofenshmirtz,
Uh-huh.
did anyone double check that he's actually dead?
He's kind of gone.
I think he got like Thanos snapped is
Yeah,
how
they
I
got
described
Thanos
it.
snapped.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll assume that's a yes.
Either that or I want to say he got acid death, right? Because you cast the Tasha's whatever.
Right, yeah, Gothic
Yeah.
Brew.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
basically, I think he wouldn't have disintegrated, but the brooms sort of that were like enchanted walking around kind of went. But I think he is sort of just an acid-riddled corpse vibing on the floor, probably not smelling too fantastic by this point. I mean, how do I put this? I know that burning flesh is supposed to smell bad, so I feel like acid-riddled flesh would smell bad, but I also know that humans are supposed to taste like pork, so I'm not sure how the smell taste
Okay,
acid
so
circle works in that scenario.
if you
Do you have insight?
if you want to know, burning
sure.
burning flesh from a human smells horrid. And if you want to know what it smells like, have you ever thrown up after eating pork? Because I have, and that shit's horrid.
Okay.
Nope, I don't need
So-
to know how you know that.
The answer is
Being sick.
bad.
Also,
Plus
burning
acid.
flesh is because I've done a medical course. So I've been in the
Oh, okay.
operating room.
I've never been in an operating room. I'm jealous. I've only fucked with dead people. I mean, okay, to clarify, it was a pro section. It was not anything immoral. I took a cadaver pro section class. It was
Phrasing.
very professional.
Yes, very believable.
Yeah,
We totally believe
phrasing.
you in your believable story.
Look, I know how they dissect male genitalia, so I'll regale you all with that story if you give me a hard time about it.
Go
It's not
for it.
pretty.
I can take my headset off.
Oh, you really want to know? Y'all really want to know?
No thanks. Let's just continue
Great,
with
that's what I thought. Dungeons and Dragons.
Back
So
in story, I mean, is Edgar really going to be bothered because, you know, he's got like 4 bags of chicken nuts hanging from his back right now.
Yeah, so I'm just describing it for the rest of you. See, I was just gonna double tap him if he was the normal death, but because I forgot he got killed by acid.
yeah, so are you sort of just running over and like kicking the corpse?
Well, no, now that I mean, I'm gonna poke him with my sword, yeah.
That's all that.
Okay.
It sort of moves a little bit as you poke. Not in like the moving sense, but in the sense of you stuck a sword in a thing and so it moved.
Yeah, okay.
I will say also for Finn, obviously there's this back room, so if Finn would want to investigate any of that, they may.
Yeah.
With my very well-drawn brooms and buckets that definitely resemble those items and don't look like a kindergartner tried to draw Lightning McQueen and absolutely failed.
Ka-chow.
That was the quietest ka-chow I've ever heard in my entire life. Which was just like, from the back, just like, ka-chow. World.
Yeah, I'll investigate kind of the other...
Yeah, absolutely. What would Evict be doing at this point, if I may ask?
Effect might have his microphone muted while he's discussing this.
Did, because I am
Oh.
thinking. I'm sorry. I was gonna say,
It's okay.
does Finn have Gorg escorting? Or
Probably not. He's probably just chilling by the fountain.
Gore is Glor's crust punk alternate persona, but okay, he's just chilling by the fountain.
Alright, so I'm going to use minor illusion to make the image of a stick, and I'm going to try really, really hard to see if I can get Glor to play fetch with a stick. That
Okay.
doesn't exist.
Roll me a performance check to throw the pretend stick for the real full metal dog.
Yep, you just said that.
That feels like it could be like the jingle to like some cartoon show. Imaginary stick, full metal dog, Glor and Evict, da 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 da. I don't know.
So that's going to be a 13.
All right. Evict does. I mean, I guess. How should I explain this? Roll me like a. What do I even say for this?
Not evac, sorry. Glor
Glor.
isn't actually dog. So I feel like Glor would kind of do the like dog head tilt thing, but
The question is, I have to be honest. Would Rasheen have taught this to Glor? Would Glor know this from that?
Good point. Yeah.
So what was the second thing you wanted me to roll?
Oh, I have no idea. I think I was gonna ask Glor to roll something. Like, roll me
Okay.
like a perception check, I guess.
Perception for Glor. What is
Okay.
Perception for Glor.
What is Glor's
It's worth
perception?
noting, would James, by the way, just while this is happening, before I forget, take anything else from the room, or just or any of the other broom handles, or just the one broom handle? I'm just making sure before I like space
I'd
something.
only take the one broom handle, but I did want to ask,
Mhm.
would a water skin be suitable for carrying acid?
No.
Not even a little.
I won't even make you roll an
Okay.
intelligence. A normal water skin, the answer is no. Definitely not.
wanted
I would
to
eat
make
through
sure.
that shit.
I wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
I
We can
start
talk if
stack-
anyone has glass vials or metal, but what? Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Before I start stacking rolls, my
Yeah.
my investigation was a 24.
You would see the same thing. Sorry, there's nothing new. I just, in case you rolled
Very
terribly low. For
And
example, you
then
would notice the.
Glor-
Yeah, so I roll Glor's roll, and then I will finish just describing the room as Finn would see it. We'll go ahead.
Glor is distracted. Glor rolled a 6.
Glor does not appear to notice the stick visual, perhaps because of the lack of, I don't know, stick smell, stick sound, whatever it is. Glor would not potentially, not necessarily be uninterested, but does not notice the attempt at the stick throw is looking at the fountain or whatever Glor would look at. Finn would notice, as they look around, first of all, the brooms, the buckets, the sort of shelf on the far side with some cleaning supplies, and they would also notice that there is a bubbling sort of pool, a well almost of acid, but it's not like that deep. Like, how to explain it? You can tell it's not that deep. Like, it's like a pool, like it's like a basin almost. Basin. That's a good word. And Finn would also see a broom sort of just floating entirely unharmed in this. I mean, it doesn't have arms to wave. Like, these brooms don't have arms. It's worth noting the other brooms did have arms, but
Not that Finn
It's sort of
would
just
know
vibing.
that, but
in the basin. No, Finn wouldn't have a fucking clue. Finn sees a broom floating in a basin of bubbling acid.
yep. Okay. Finn has no desire to fuck with that.
Fair enough. Okay. So,
Finn will probably just stay there because they don't feel like we should just be like completely split the party. But
okay.
when James leaves the room, Finn will go with.
Okay. Would James remain in the room longer or head back to the main room?
I'll probably leave. Nothing else for him here.
All right.
I mean, fully out of character. Those buckets they used to carry.
Yeah, but it is open, so that would be like a whole
It'd be
other
different
story.
unless we had like something to easily carry a bucket, like some sort of handle. But I don't believe we
Yeah,
have.
fair.
Yeah, glass vials would also be a different story. I'd probably allow at least an attempt at that, but this is a story for another day. Anyway, those of you in the main room come back, or rather, James and Finn return to the site of Evict, sort of throwing what appears to be possibly a pretend stick, and then glancing eagerly at Glor, who has paid no attention and notices nothing and is just sort of sitting there.
What are you doing with my dog?
Your mic was muted, so we don't know what you said.
Can't you tell? Nothing. He's boring.
He's not meant to be entertainment.
Ah, but he could be.
Do you need entertainment?
Depends on the time, but yes.
Well, if we have nothing else that we need to do, we might want to go searching for this mother.
Yes, there was another route we could have taken. We should probably go back to that.
Party going back down the tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Secret tunnel.
Through the mountain.
Dark, full of pit traps. So, are you all, in fact, going back the way you came and exiting the lair of Doofenshmirtz Grand Sorcenator?
Depends on if we have to roll for it, I think.
Well, so, as you all exit the main room, of course, head back down the various and sundry rooms, which, by the way, I think I mentioned there are doors that have closed behind you that have now opened. You all, also, everyone roll me just a quick perception check as you go back through the tunnels. Right, now, not actually the tunnels, through this area.
Perception of 24.
That's a wonderful 9.
21, natural 20.
Nice.
I'm so proud of you. Oh my god.
I can now that I know magic, I can see!
There's this
Dirty
Aviator
20.
song, Dirty 20, there's this Aviator song that I always think of whenever anyone rolls a really good perception roll, and it's like, 1,000 eyes open inside to grant me sight to see the end, and that's what I think of that's what plays in my head every time someone rolls a really good perception check. Anyway, also, let me see if I can, I think I can play YouTube again. I'm not gonna play that song, even though it would be really funny, but I might play it later. What the fuck was I doing? I feel like I want to play even, like, humorous music, but I don't know.
The
Anyway.
Benny Hill theme song.
Well, there's, like, a thing that goes, like, do 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 do. I kind of want to play that, but I couldn't, like, think of, like, what
Perry the
it
Platypus
was.
song?
Yeah, that's Barry the Platypus's theme
That's Perry the
song.
Platypus song.
Doobie doobie doo wop doobie doobie doo wop.
Hang on. I can find a version of this. I know I can.
Perry.
Unless it's based off of like the tune of another song.
This works, I think. God fucking damn it! I know the video is unavailable. Fuck you! Fuck your mom! Okay, this works. Okay, so as you all head back to the compound, those of you who rolled decent perception checks, which I think is everyone except Evect.
Not Evect.
Not a bad.
Yep, Evect gets fucked by the dice as per usual. But the rest of you would notice that essentially all of these strange things you noticed about this place are like gone. Like for example, all of the doors that closed behind you essentially of their own accord have opened. You all may recall that as you entered that one like puzzle room, if you remember what I'm talking about, with the doll and the clever wordplay.
I'm gonna say that I do not notice this.
If you don't,
By choice.
yeah, actually true. You don't notice that anything is different. You're all seeing this with new, fresh fucking eyes.
Yep.
But the rest of you who have actually seen this shit before notice that, for example, all of the candles are out. Even like the berries that are left, like how to explain it? So they don't seem as fresh as when you last saw them. Like they might have the leaves might have started to wither. Like you get the sense that if there was magic in this place, it's gone. However, you all would also notice as you go to exit this place that one thing has not disappeared, and that is in fact the pit of spikes, of course, that stands between you and the rest of the tunnel for to wherever else you'd like to go, which of course you are now on the other side of. So,
Haha, I'm gonna... Oh, wait. Is this before or after the part where we have to go single file? This is before the part we have to go single file, right?
I think this is at the part you have to go. So the tunnel is single file, and so this is in the tunnel again. I could draw a picture of it if that would help people.
It's the current place isn't single file, but to jump back across, we'd have to go single file again.
Basically, so you remember that there's that circular room, and then there's the door to the circular room that had the little lich firework puppet behind it that swung down.
Yeah.
And then there's the tunnel outside of that. That tunnel is single file. The circular room leading up to it is not. Once you go through that door,
Okay.
which I want to say the pit trap was like 10 feet in front of that door into the tunnel. I'll work on drawing a picture.
That makes it easy. I'm gonna do the exact same thing that I did before. I'm just going to do a running jump across without gaining any height, so head first.
So head first. Roll me an athletics check. Also, I'm drawing. This is like a general vibe. So like the for the room, is the room the exact same size it was last time? I have no fucking clue. You get the fucking point.
That's a 19.
19. Okay. It's like we'll just say it's here. There's spikes and danger here. Cool. Definitely a very good drawing. 19. Great. Roll me that 1d4 bludgeoning damage.
Effect is going to see if there
That's
might be
1
a way
damage.
to set the trap in the room.
To reset the trap in the room. Is that what he asked? Or that was you
Yeah,
asked?
to see if there's any way to put the floor back. There's usually a way to reset things like this.
Yes.
I would like to try
So,
finding it.
roll me an investigation check.
I don't trust you. Let's go to this dice.
But I'll take 1 damage.
Great.
As I land face first on the other side of the trap.
Ooh,
You
that is
all,
going to
go ahead.
be, dirty 20 for the investigation.
Wonderful. The rest of you, by the way, see Ega basically do a Leroy Jenkins belly flop across the pit trap and once again meet the ground with his face, probably standing up with a literal shit-eating grin. Not like literal shit, but as in he ate shit. Anyway.
Easy.
Easy. Simply don't care about your facial features. Who needs to look good? For a dirty 20, I will give Evect essentially the following, which is that there is a panel in the floor of this circular room near the center where Doofenshmirtz appeared. So first of all, in general, you can see sort of the runes around this room that I think I described before. But in the center of the room, like right there or whatever, it's not a perfect circle. Don't fucking worry about it. is a floor panel that flips up to reveal a lever.
No, I'm not smart enough to look for traps. I pull the lever.
Awesome. As you pull the lever, you would notice the following, which is that nothing does happen with the Lich Puppet. You could guess that one, especially given its firework-containing nature, was sort of a one and done, sort of a, shall we say, well, I'm not going to make that dirty of a joke. It's a one and done, not a repeat performance. But you see that essentially the floor panel that sort of slid aside to reveal the spikes slides back together, allowing you all to proceed down the tunnel unharmed. James's poor legs can avoid another hit.
Oh, well, what I just sent you becomes completely irrelevant then as Glor and I walk across the...
If you do want a ruling on that, I would say you don't technically have to because it's a choice, but you do you,
That was what I
fam.
was wondering. No, I mean, it became irrelevant, but yeah, I was wondering, do I have to?
Nah, you don't gotta.
Okay.
I mean, you could for comedic effect, but all right.
Would be
So,
amusing.
you all are able to proceed down the tunnel, which I'm gonna just have it loop back, so it doesn't actually loop back, but this is like me drawing like you guys as you go back down the tunnel. So essentially there's sort of a curve to the tunnel, which also, it's worth noting, slopes down once more, I believe. And then essentially you get back to what is that looks like a weird tree person, but the fork in the tunnel that you encountered previously. It's also worth noting, of course, that there are sort of these, I should really use the color blue, dabba-dee-dabba-die for this, but there are the same sort of blue crystals growing out of the walls that were, that you all saw before. I have to know my cardinal directions in reverse, which is terrible, not even cardinal, just left versus right. I have done this to myself. This is terrible.
I think we took like 2 rights.
Yeah, but I have to figure out which right is. That's right. That's right from the way you came.
There are also 2 paths to the left we didn't take.
I think there was just one, but there might have been.
I thought there was like a right, and then we decided to keep going right.
Yeah, if we take 2 rights, then we obviously missed 2 lefts.
Okay, so the answer is basically this would be the first right that you could have taken. Or the second. The second. You're coming from the other direction. You go back down tunnel. Find fork. Crystal. So, what are you all going to do, children? That is a very skinny tunnel. We'll fix that in the background.
Yeah, it's neat. Okay, I can think now.
I draw a tunnel better. Not that it matters.
Honestly, I'd be curious in what's down the other tunnel.
Oh, would you now?
Yes.
So, would James in fact lead the way down the other tunnel?
They shall.
All right. So, the rest of you presumably follow, as James, upon reaching this fork, would then head down this way, correct? Essentially the other way that you have not, the way that you have not traveled yet. Excellent. So, as you all do so, sorry, I have to clear the fucking thing because life hard. So I need to clear my drawings in the other layer. Roll 20 hard, people. Roll 20 hard. Alright. So, it's worth noting that you all would go distinctly downwards. So as you go down this tunnel, First of all, there's sort of these blue crystals lining the side of the tunnel. I'm just drawing in real time because I can. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. What the fuck? Okay, don't worry about that. So y'all would be at the bottom, and then oh god, who's not here? Who'd I have to just eat off to the side? This guy's fucking gone. So, you all would be coming down from this direction with James in the lead. I think that's James. Looks like James.
Yeah. But
So-
I see someone on the map that's not here.
Yeah. Let me just move these fuckers.
Because you dragged effect
think
off the
this
map.
is here.
Go.
Okay, I'm sorry. Come. Characters, fucking tokens. And wait, do I have?
You don't have mine, sorry.
What? Oh, do you need a new one?
Yeah, I'll send you the picture, sorry.
Oh, you're good. Don't stress
Yeah.
about it too
Having
much.
trouble.
Somehow, with what she's saving, all I'm able to transfer is a blank picture to the token maker that I use. It's actually rather impressive. No matter how I save it, it does it.
I don't know.
That is a PDF. Okay, I will make the attemptest of attempts.
I don't know how to convert it to something.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. In the meantime, I might just give you a placeholder if that's all right. You won't terribly object to that. Definitely far too much.
I can give it to you as a Word document. That's about the only other option.
Oh, whack. Okay. You get that person for the meantime. I know that's not you, and I'll fix it. Okay, I promise.
All good. Sorry.
No, you're okay. I feel bad. Character settings. Does that work? Can you control that now? Did I do that? Does that work?
When am I?
This one at the bottom.
Yes.
Can you move that? Ah, fantastic! Fantastic, wonderful.
Actually, not a bad one either.
Yes. So. I'm gonna use this. So. As you all go down this tunnel, it definitely slopes. How do I put this? So essentially, going through the other fork, you all would have gradually traveled upwards to go to where you ended up. This, of course, is very much a downward slope. And as you all sort of round the corner, you see the following sight. Namely, it is and y'all would essentially be able to move up to here at this point. James would be seeing this first. Is a large cavern with a couple notable things inside. One would be, of course, around the edges grow many of these same blue crystals, which are in light blue now to avoid confusion. One is a rather large, deep blue. It's a lake. Is a large, rather serene-seeming lake. And kneeling by this lake, you see a drow woman, who is sort of bent over, facing away from you. But even from this distance, you can hear the sound of muffled sobs. She does not appear to have noticed your presence.
Gonna sort of shimmy. I'm gonna shimmy around the side, keeping close to the wall while everyone else comes in. Make sure that they're not a threat.
Okay. Are you attempting to move stealthily in that case?
Probably not, like, specifically stealthily, just sort of hugging the wall, staying out of their vision.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless I should get my dice. I literally haven't gotten my dice up until this point. Go me as the DM. And essentially you're trying to determine whether or not they're a threat, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Get my dice. Ow, my foot. I'm organized. So the short answer that I can give you is no. She definitely doesn't appear to be an obvious threat. She seems mostly to just be in distress. The crying would have been pretty quiet from a distance, but as you perhaps got closer, it would become apparent that, I mean, she's crying. Like, tears are running down her face. She clearly seems very upset about something. And as you sort of move around the side, she does turn her head and notice you. And sort of scrambles back, and out of, like, her pocket pulls a dagger.
She's got a knife! Pulling out my bow.
For the rest of you, first of all, are you all moving into the cavern? And anyone who would like to may roll me a perception check as they can see the scene if they are moving into the cavern.
I mean, shit, that's cocked. It's a 19.
Also, I'm gonna give you I gave you a placeholder one. You're good. A 19.
You said perception?
Either perception or insight. Actually, I would accept either in this scenario, depending on, you know.
That's 5 either way.
I'll stick with the 19.
Nope, that's an 8. We need to do some cleansing on our dice, guys.
You guys
I'm
might.
unbanning Lucky officially, so if anyone would like to, they can swap one of their feats to Lucky. Yay! I'm only half kidding. Those of you who rolled, well, I guess exactly Ega, and only Ega, would notice that she seems terrified. Like, she is, like, her arm is shaking as she's holding the dagger. She's not holding that dagger correctly. Like, it's, I don't know, if someone's supposed to hold a dagger correctly, like, it's not, that ain't it, Chief.
That one Avatar: The Last Airbender scene with Iroh.
Yes, that one guy who, like, has his knees together and
Yes.
he's like literally like that, except she's like in more of a seated position. In other words, a threat she is not. At least from, you know, appearances.
I still hold on to my bow as I shouted, "She has a knife."
What do you want with me? He wouldn't smile.
Do you know Rix?
Rix? What's happened? What's happened to my boy? Please, is he all right? Tell me he hasn't gotten into trouble again, has he?
Your son is fine. He misses you, though.
You see a deep frown crease her face as she turns back to stare into the lake, and you see tears once again start to fall heavily from her cheeks. I know, I've failed him. But
How do you believe you failed him?
he doesn't answer for a long moment and simply seems to be staring almost intently once again into the lake. Those poor boys. I didn't realize until I came here how absent I've been, how desperate I was for us to have a better life, that I couldn't give them any life at all. Pathetic, isn't it?
They seemed... Wait, no, Finn doesn't know that.
Ben doesn't know shit.
Finn doesn't know shit.
I ought to go home to them, but I can't seem to look away.
can't seem to look away.
How could you just look away from seeing something like that laid bare in front of you? My greatest failure.
It's
As
water.
a mother, of course.
I'm going to avoid looking in the water.
It's just
Okay.
water.
Yeah.
She doesn't necessarily seem to reply to the comment that it's just water and is once again still staring down into the lake. She's no longer sobbing, but tears are still falling down her cheeks. She definitely just still seems distraught. I assume y'all would have moved closer to her. I will say, like, to just talk to her. You probably couldn't talk to her from this distance without shouting.
Yeah. Come up to her as much as she'll allow.
Once you mentioned Rix's name, she dropped the knife. Like, once you,
Okay.
she doesn't seem to... Sorry, I should clarify. She doesn't, like, seem to view you as a threat. Basically, like, she seems scared of you, and once you mentioned Rix's name, it instantly went to concern. And now she seems to be sort of, once again, absorbed in her own grief.
So,
But
what with water?
I don't know. I was looking for the fountain, of course. I still haven't found it, but when I came here and sat by the water's edge, hoping to take a break after walking through the cavern and the tunnels, I sat and I saw my boys sitting at home, alone, trying to fend for themselves. It just broke my heart. I don't know how I could do that to them. I wanted Trix to have something better than I had, a different life, maybe. And instead I saw them being the parent I couldn't be. Anyway.
Evac would probably get, and assuming no weird effects need to happen, can I maybe Arcana check the water?
Yes, feel free to Arcana check the water. I should say as a side note as a DM, I checked everyone's consent sheets and I don't think that this sort of thing triggers anyone, but if anyone is like, oh my god, this is like literally horrible, like just please let me know and I will stop.
Can I?
It's gonna be an 18.
18. Before I
I'll let
respond,
you
what was the other
answer
thing?
that. I just wanted to like maybe splash the water that she's like where she's looking, and see what happens.
Okay. So from an Arcana check from a distance, what I could tell you is that the water does seem magical in some way. In particular, its surface seems quite reflective. From a distance, you can sort of clearly see these stalactites in the surface. Essentially, you could imagine the refraction index, to use science, is... Oh, I can't remember if it's supposed to be higher or lower. Fuck the science. It reflect good. That was a journey.
All here for it.
Oh, thanks.
As well as everyone watching on Twitch.
Hey, Twitch fuckers, what's good? I think I'm allowed to call them that. I know I'm not allowed to call them simps, but...
I mean, yeah.
You are now.
Fuck yeah. Anyway, it definitely... How do I explain this? It does seem to be different from normal water in some regards. Now, from that Arcana check, just from a regular Arcana check, you can't be like, ah, yes, this water has specific magic or whatever, but... you could notice that in particular that aspect of it seems a bit off. The water doesn't really seem to glow. Before that, I will also give you the fact that this cave is lined thick with those blue crystals. I mean, like, I don't know if I did justice to it, but like, I mean, you know, it doesn't fully, it doesn't extend to the ceiling, but like the walls are pretty much crusted with these blue crystals, all with sort of their faint glow.
I'd like to like pick up a pebble or something, preferably larger than a pebble, but like, you know, a stone, if I can find one. Can I
Yeah.
easily find something like
Roll
that?
me a luck check.
Oh,
So you're trying to like disrupt the surface of the water from a distance? Question mark.
yeah, like I'm not too far away. I'm probably actually pretty close, like almost right next to her, probably within touching distance of her. But
Okay.
I
Are
don't
you
wanna touch
looking
the
at the
water.
lake at all, or are you
No.
you're being careful not to
I'm
look at the
being
lake?
very careful not to look at the lake.
Gotcha.
Although for flavor,
Alright.
I'm kind of tempted to. But Finn is not quite that naive.
Well, I will say, would Ega and James be doing anything specific during this time?
I mean, if there's some sort of save involved, I'm pretty sure I would need to look directly at the water in order to get an Arcana check. So
I mean,
Luck was 19.
You can find a small rock and attempt to skip it. If so, just make me your choice of a for how would I explain this? For accuracy without hitting her, if you want to make it from a bit of a distance.
it's just a
If you want to
ranged
sort of
attack.
just yeet it at the like lake in front of her, just make me like a sleight of hand check or a ranged weapon and attack.
Yeah, so dex check. Throwing a rock.
Basically. Yeah, pretty much. Dex check of some kind. Pretty much just to make sure you don't hit her, but actually disrupt the water where she's looking. Especially the main reason. Sorry, I promise. The main reason making you do this is because you're trying not to look at the lake.
Yeah,
So
no, that's fair.
otherwise, I wouldn't be giving you such a hard time and making you make so many checks. I promise. Okay.
Also,
Other things.
What Ega's basically is just looking, like
Uh,
in the general direction of the woman, so the lake is in line of sight.
got a 19.
A 19.
Disrupting the look.
Okay. For Ega, how do I explain this? You note, obviously, that she is still sort of glancing into the lake with tears rolling down her cheeks. If you're sort of like looking from a distance, which you are, you can sort of see the same thing, although you might not note it nearly as much as Evect, sort of the reflective surface of the water in the caverns above. The caverns, the ceiling with
Yeah.
the cave and the stalactites. For a 19, Finn will chuck the rock, and as the water is disrupted in front of her, you do see her, in fact, almost seem to sort of like start a little bit as the water is disrupted, and she turns back to look at you all.
Your children are not in that pool. They are waiting for you at home. You've only failed as a mother if you don't go back to them.
I have to get home. I have to go back to them. My babies must have been waiting for me. I have to go. She will get up and pretty much start like heading out. Like she pretty
booking
much
it.
gets up and sprints out of the cave. Like she kind of doesn't even stop to acknowledge or thank you. Obviously, if you all want to follow her, you can.
Before
But-
I feel like
we
maybe we should.
before we leave, you said the water's very reflective, yes?
It is.
So far we haven't been able to tell too much special about it, at least visually.
From an Arcana check, no, especially looking from a distance. None of you have approached and like looked. How do I explain this? Into the lake yet? You all have been like, oh, what's that? What's up with that lake over there? It's kind of shiny, huh?
Hi, Crash.
I mean,
Not to
I
put too
will
fine a
say
point
I
in it,
was
but-
as close as I put my character, and I was not careful with my Arcana check.
I'm gonna look into the lake.
The key thing is if you are looking at yourself in the lake or not. I'm going to be honest
Yeah.
without being too meta, which you were too far away from unless you like, unless you laid forward and were like,
No, I'm going
lake.
to really look into the lake.
Would anyone else be looking? How do I explain this? Across the lake as James does this. As anyone else still looking at the lake?
Now I was thinking of maybe tripping up the woman.
By the way, she's like taking off down this like tunnel, like she's going.
They're gone.
She's not like running, but she's definitely like, I gotta get home to my kids. I gotta get home to my kids. is anyone else looking across the lake as James does this? Actually,
Kinda. I followed.
Across the lake?
So she ran, and then
importantly, I
probably
should
looked
ask.
back.
Well, Evect was looking across the lake before Finn skipped the rock, right? Or that happened about the same time.
About the same time.
Finn, or sorry, not Finn. Evect might have caught a glimpse of something that wasn't just the woman's reflection in front of her in the water, but it would have been pretty rapidly disrupted by the rock splashing it apart. Well, I'm gonna start by just doing this privately, and we'll see what happens. Come here, Kira.
Oh no.
We.
Oh
Yes,
no.
I think I figured it out. Maybe. Possible. I at least got it into a different program for me.
I mean, it's a scrying pool, but cursed and massive.
Yeah, pretty much. I keep thinking of like Narcissus.
Yes, I know my Greek mythology.
Sorry, I'm obsessed.
Just a little.
I just sent you something. Maybe it'll work better? Perhaps?
Nope.
It's a PNG this time. I give up.
Sorry.
Not your fault.
Alright, and I actually need to run to the restroom real quick. BRB.
I'm still trying to figure out tokens, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, you're also gonna need a bunch of different character sheets for all the different tokens. Or you have to swap icon every time.
I do have to swap icons every time, yeah. But that's not too bad.
Could be easier.
Or at least
yeah.
it wouldn't be if I could use any... If I could make any tokens at all, it wouldn't be a problem.
Every turn.
Yay.
It's us. We're back. And the only other part that I forgot to directly mention is I actually sorry, I had to think about this. No, actually, as James looks into the lake, he would likely seem, you know, how do I explain this? There's no save involved in this. He sees what he sees, and he would react how he would react. If anyone else is essentially looking across the lake at this time, let me know. But obviously, like, you know, it would be if you were already sort of looking
I haven't moved myself, sorry.
No problem. Yeah, you can move yourself wherever you would be for all y'all.
Where was, Mom? Name?
She was like right here. Yeah.
Sorry, okay. Wait, oh, she was over there?
Yeah, she already ran all the way.
Yeah, she's like going down that. She was like once that happened, she was basically like, "Ayo, I gotta go get my kids. I gotta go get my kids."
So I was, like, right next to her, so I don't think I'd be looking across the lake.
Thanks for lurking, Crash.
I think I'm more concerned. I'm probably looking back towards where she just took off to.
Okay.
Yeah, and after she
Or
ran...
looking. I'd probably be looking around at my group.
Okay.
Yeah, so after she ran past, I also do just a turnaround look, so I will have the lake basically in view.
So, for anyone who is looking at the lake, how do I explain this? Like, you have to have, like, if you have the lake literally out of the corner of your eye, I would say make this with disadvantage, if at all. But if anyone is looking essentially at/over the lake during this time, roll me a perception check.
I guess he's nothing. That's a nat 1.
Lake shiny.
So
Woman go?
Woman gone.
Woman gone? So, what would James do in reaction to seeing this in the lake in front of him?
They're going to slam their fist into the lake and try to grab something as if they're floating in it.
Okay. You all see James practically almost dive into the lake. Like, how do I explain this? The lake is relatively deep, so even like from by the edge of the lake, like you would go like into the lake, at least part way. Like you would probably have at least part of your upper body in the lake. Y'all see James basically like kind of do like one of these, like something like that. James, you see the same thing as you go underwater, sinking further.
Well, now I'm looking at the water, but I'm not looking at myself. I'm looking to see where he went. Can we see him now that when he goes under the water? Them?
Well,
him?
how far are you going?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm going just as far as my arms can reach. I'm not fully diving in.
So the answer is you all would see James go like part of the way in, but stop there, presumably still with legs on shore, as it slips beyond his grasp and sinks. As it disappears, would James come back up, I'm assuming?
Yeah, James has kind of come back up, sort of looking a little more depressed than normal. And a lot soggier.
I'll help with the soggy part. Prestidigitation for the weak.
And James is just gonna be silent, just contemplating, looking, still looking in the lake. Still looking in the lake.
James does not see anything currently in the lake. So, what would everyone else be doing after seeing, James dive halfway into the lake and then sit back up and come out of the lake?
I mean, I would hear splashing behind me and turn back.
Okay.
Because I didn't see anything.
You would be able to see the second half of that sight as you see James essentially the upper half of his body underwater and then slowly sitting back up out of the lake and sitting there silently staring at its surface.
That's water. It's just water.
Still just water.
Waterless water.
Did you lose something?
We don't get moving, I will. And I stand up and I just trot out of the tunnel, like not trying to. I'm not in any rush. I'm just slowly trotting my way out, like I've been defeated.
See James get up and begin a defeated walk out of the tunnel, or sorry, out. You know, like out into the tunnel.
Hey Milo.
Yeah, what's up?
Odds are even on a percentile die.
Odd.
Okay. Ega's gonna walk over to the edge and look down to see if something fell in.
Okay. Come here.
Oh no, not again.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
What's Ega's greatest fear?
All those monsters that he's seeing.
What do those monsters look like?
Good question. We never went over that.
Sounds like now's a great time to decide in case anyone else happens to be looking at the lake, and that way I can describe Ega's greatest fear to them as well. Because it, you know. Anyway. What do you think that they would look like? They could look like the monsters from our, like they could look like the things from the last scene of Arcane. Depends on how crazy.
Hold on, last scene from Arcane. You mean like
the scribble monsters when he's like, "Bye, Vander."
Oh, no, not those. No. I was more thinking something akin, since it's paranoia mostly.
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Sleep paralysis demon art. Give it to me.
Oh, no, not sleep paralysis demon. Copy. Something akin to that. Like shadow demons.
Okay, so essentially, like, wait, would it almost be like, wait, you haven't seen A Nightmare Before Christmas, have you?
I have not.
Like,
no.
would it almost be like dancing shadows?
More like grasping. Like they're
Okay,
they're
so
trying
like
to get.
grasping
They're
shadows.
trying
Would
to
they
get
have
me.
like? Would they
Like,
have like
I've sent-
maws of teeth or something? Like
I've
yeah,
sent you
tell
the
me more.
image.
I know, but like, do they have like the shoulder pads and the eyes like that? Like,
This
do
is
they
just
look like that specifically, or is it more amorphous?
yeah, more like amorphous, but it is some sort of shadowy entity.
Yeah,
Claws,
like it could be
tendrils.
something
It could have
like...
a maw in there. It could just be a maw. It could be eyes on a maw.
Okay, so like, kind of like, ooh, something like this maybe, like, or hang on, that's not bad, but like something like this, like something like that.
Yeah, those things could be possible as well. Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out like how defined you want it versus like.
Honestly,
How do I explain this?
as long as some sort of creepy shit. Hell, for all I care. Let me just copy. For all I care, it's the fucking Shade Lord from Hollow Knight.
I was gonna say.
For all I care, it's this motherfucker.
I was gonna say, I literally saw that as one of the top arts. Okay, so you know what? Just for fun, I'm gonna describe it as very Shade Lord-esque. Grasping tendrils and hands, rows of glowing white eyes or teeth or God knows what. Okay, cool, great,
Yeah.
awesome, thank you. And then think about, I'm not gonna make you make a save, but how would Ega react to seeing that in the lake in front of
I
him?
already know how I'm going to react.
Because the answer is, there's not a save, but he very much believes it's real.
Fair enough. Okay.
Okay, bye. Let's go back. What? Wait, what's up?
I already know exactly how I'm going to react to that.
Okay, great. Come on back with me. Okay. So, question of, would anyone else be looking at the lake during this time?
Probably now I would, yeah.
Also, wait,
Unfortunately.
can I have the host thing back? I don't know how you give it back, but I need it back to loop the video.
On the top right of the playlist, there's a button where you can say who hosts.
I don't know that I can change it.
whoever is hosting can select who hosts.
Kira, help!
What? Oh.
Maketh me host.
There you go.
Would anyone else be looking at the lake during this time? Was that a yes?
I was just wondering if anything has notably changed since I used while I was in the restroom, or everything's still kind of.
So you would have seen James step forward, look at the lake, half go into the lake, seeming to try and grab something, get out, be very quiet, and then essentially started to walk back into the tunnel, very defeated-like. And Ega would have walked forward and looked into the lake, and the question is, would anyone else have been essentially looking like, how to explain this, not necessarily into the lake, but at the lake's surface during this time? If the answer is no, that's okay.
I think I actually would have grabbed Ega to try to stop him from looking into the lake.
I guess roll me a grapple check in that case, so I assume normally like an opposed grapple? Because unless he would give up... I think it's just an athletics check, except it's opposed.
Athletics versus athletics or acrobatics.
Yeah.
So
sorry, I know I keep asking all this question, like, would other people be looking like over the lake? But it matters because either you see it or you don't.
Quick question: you said you had a negative strength, right?
Yes, I do.
You're not grappling me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I rolled an 18 and I have a +5 in athletics.
Okay, so yeah, you literally can't win.
Try though, and
you are unable to stop Ega. Oh, so close yet so far. No, despite Finn's very best attempts, Ega is simply too strong.
Dumb muscle
and
go.
Indeed goes to look into the lake. So what I'm hearing is no one else will see this. Going once.
I mean,
going twice.
Fia's right next to me, so she might see it from like the corner of her eye.
Are you still deliberately not looking at the lake, or?
I'd probably be more focused on trying to get out of there, so I might accidentally glance. But,
roll me a perception check.
Watch, now I'll get a nat 20. Nope, that's an 8. +2, so 10.
Given everything, I won't give you that. What does Ega do in response to seeing that in the water?
Ah! Shoot arrows.
Shoot arrows. Okay, so he takes out his bow and starts shooting at the lake?
Yes.
Okay. Roll me that weapon attack. The rest of you see Ega make... what was it? I think it looked like a surprised Pikachu expression.
Right?
Was it like that?
It's just a fear of, shit, something I absolutely am scared of.
So you all see Ega kind of like jolt back and try and shoot at the lake. What's the weapon attack?
It's a 15 to hit.
You are indeed able to shoot an arrow into the lake, and as you do so, this thing disappears.
I think that we should leave this room.
Not this time, shadow demons.
There are no demons. It is water.
Not this time, shadow demons. As I run away.
Okay, everyone's running away.
Well,
what do the rest of you do?
I'm going to whistle for Glor and head out.
Okay.
But I'm not leaving the room until I see that others are following.
What is Evect doing? Would Evect have done anything else during this time, or followed the rest at this point?
I probably would have focused on where Ega was shooting, but...
At the lake. Would you have looked at if he was shooting something?
No, I'm
Okay,
gonna
yeah.
mostly just be perplexed, I think.
Oh, okay.
Just... I think the chicken testicles have gone a little rancid.
Chicken testicles.
Yes. Oh, right.
From the tunnel, you still hear Aga scream, "Not today, shadow demons!"
Is the Vect going to explain chicken testicles more?
Only if he walks with them, otherwise Finn is just going to keep trying to get everyone out.
Oh, no, I'll start walking, but I'm just... Since I'm vaguely aware that there are different people involved, now I'm just trying to figure out... Is that something that they're actually needing to know? I think we're gonna err on no.
Vect does not explain further. So, James, you are walking ahead. It's worth noting that James would see even that the Drow woman is like long, like he does not see her as they go back, as like he's walking back through the tunnels. And then he hears. So I assume James is walking and Ega is running.
Yes, I'm pretty sure I'm just...
That was my interpretation, but correct me if I'm wrong.
James?
You're up.
Interpretation of what?
Is,
Sorry, that sounds quite
James
quick
was
for me.
walking back, right?
Yeah, he's walking back.
And not running. Okay.
Yeah.
So as James is walking back, he hears like, "Not today, shadow demons!"
As Aga comes bolting down.
thundering down the tunnel behind him. Would Aga stop short of running into James, I assume?
Yeah,
I
but
love
I
that you assume.
I will keep running in places in... Out of the way, out of the way, out of the way!
There is now an Aga running in place behind you, screaming, "Not today, shadow demons, out of my way!"
The shadow demons can have me instead. I step aside. Go right ahead, buddy.
Boom!
Aga goes zoom. So as Aga runs through the tunnels, it's worth...
The moment I get to the crossroads, I stop because I'm confused of where we were.
Yeah.
I will, however,
So-
turn around and point my bow at the hallway.
So, I do assume that probably Finn and Evect would catch up to James. Would any words be exchanged at that point before they continue on to find their Ega?
He went that way. Don't know what that was about. Shadow demons? If you summon something from that lake, we're having words later.
Did you see when you looked?
Go ask them, they'll probably know. And I point down the tunnel. To where... I point down the tunnel to where they were running.
Where Ega was running?
Yeah.
Where I go... Yeah, I just point straight down the tunnel where I was running.
Okay.
Sorry, but out of character. That just sounds like you're saying you too saw the shadow demon, but instead of being afraid of it, you just tried to grab it and then walked away.
Yes, y'all will sort that out later. So, as you all walk down the tunnel, which I have drawn over here because I'm awesome and draw things, for sure. You all would find a... Well, how would they find Ega? Aside... you know, aiming his bow into the darkness towards them.
Like, crouched, sitting there with his bow drawn, ready. Not today, not today, not today.
Friend, why not just cast some magic at it?
Not good at controlling yet.
Valid.
Takes too long to cast. Bow is always ready.
Would you like the bow to be slightly more effective against whatever? What are we fighting?
A shadow demon came from the lake, normally just behind me.
A shadow demon.
Yes,
Behind you, you say?
yes, always watching, always there.
And what does it do other than watch?
Well, just tried to grab me. Otherwise watching. Creeping up.
Well, I don't think that it followed us. Shall we head back? Hesitation as Finn realizes that they have no idea what back actually means in this case. Beyond that room with the fountain.
Back sounds good. No, you shut up.
We are all out of this room at this point.
Yes, you all
Yes.
are indeed over here. At this, which would be the first tunnel fork you encountered, and
On the way
eventually
back.
this way would be the door that you saw. Or the entrance to the tunnel. I think it's just an entrance to the tunnel. Door was other group. Different group.
Excuse me.
Back is good.
Oh,
Back is good.
what are you all doing? I hear back, but what is back? Where is back?
I mean, Aga
It
would
has-
Aga assumes it would be Undercaster. But Aga also has no idea where to go for Undercaster. Please,
Finn has
Wow.
no idea what
Please.
Undercaster even is.
please, someone with a brain, take over, please.
The other two
I have a
would
brain, I
hear
have no
Aga
memory.
muttering back is good, talking over his shoulder, if I saw correctly once again. Finn looking exceptionally puzzled.
So we went right to get here, so we need to go left to get back.
Oh wait, this isn't correct. I drew the tunnel for yeah, but fuck. Y'all are on the other one.
Let's just assume we're smart and we know where we're going.
Sorry, I don't know why I drew this as the other fork. Okay, hold on. Let me not be a fucking idiot. This actually would go further down technically. Christ in a handbasket. Y'all, I guess, would technically have come from this right fork because you all took that one, and then there would be tunnel, and then I think I said at one point there was another fork, so there'd be another fork, and then there's more. Ahem, sorry. Oh god, roll 20, stop fucking me like this.
Or at least buy you dinner first.
God, I know, right? It could really wine and dine first. Sorry, that is a better map of what the fuck is going on. So, there is a general sentiment that I've heard to head back to Undercaster. Would that be what the group do?
Yeah.
I do believe so.
Alright. You get the point. So, you all are able to head this way and emerge out the same tunnel entrance that you came into. And you would see before you the same broad cavern stretching out before you. And also those who wish can roll me a perception check. It's worth noting, I believe this was north, so you all would be facing south now, so you all would be at the north end of the cavern, and if that's wrong, fuck me.
Wasn't it east?
It was a direction. Was it fucking east? Mine, it was
It
east.
was east.
You're at the east end of the cavern. Yes, that.
So
the-
we're heading west
eat.
to go back.
Yes, you all would head west to go back. Like, yes, that. And yes,
I
those
just
of you who would
wasted
like
a nat
to.
20 on perception.
A 10.
Sure. Let's see if I can get another low roll out of this dice. Yeah, that's a solid 6 on that perception check.
Okay, I heard a 6. I heard another roll. I heard a nat 20. What was the other roll? And
A 10.
a 10. James.
That is 24.
So, those of you who rolled a 10 and above would notice that it seems to be probably the Undercaster's midday time at this point. You can't exactly tell from the sun, but you can see distantly that the city itself is bustling with activity. And those of you who rolled, well, a 20 or higher would notice two other things, which is there is a small figure dashing across the cavern, seeming to have come from your direction, running towards the outskirts of the town where many of the smaller huts are, and where, in fact, of course, Rix's house is. And the other thing is that around the area of the city, you see two sort of faint glowing shapes for a moment before they disappear. Sort of a pulsing yellow, just out of the corner of your eye, and then they drift out of sight.
I'm intrigued.
Are you saying that in character? Are you...
So I see figures just out of the corner of my eye?
Figures would be a generous term.
I see
You saw what sort of
movement.
looked like a hovering blob that sort of pulsated with color and then seemed to drift out of view.
Can I try to look to see if I can find it again?
Yes, I would say. How do I explain this? You saw this far away. Like, this is like in the city, which you are probably, what did I say last time? What, like a half mile away from? So, I'm gonna say that's correct.
Something
So
like
that was with a pretty good perception check. So I mean, I'll tell you, because you just rolled a perception check, like if you just are looking, you currently can't see them anymore because they went behind a building, so you can't currently see them. If you
I would
wanted
like
to go try and
follow to
find
where they
them.
went.
Okay. Are the rest of you all following along? I'm gonna assume yes. Okay. So, as you all head towards, essentially, more towards downtown Ancaster, I had to think of brain. You all pass through, essentially, I think I described there was like almost the other, so there's like a couple different sections of like, not slums, but you know, like poorer folks living outside Undercaster. And you pass through sort of the area where Rix does not live. So you once again pass through an area with some kids running around, but none that you recognize. People sitting and roasting food over fires, or just sitting. Some homes are empty, likely those who are working. And as you get closer to the downtown area, you would spy that floating towards you are two very peculiar creatures. I mean, you've seen mushroom beings, you've seen all sorts of other things down here. But these are definitely a novel creature. I mean, possibly not for some of you. But it almost looks like... So there's two of them. And they almost look sort of like a pancake, like a hovering pancake, or almost even a muffin top. Each one has numerous appendages that dangle below it, almost with little like hand type, like almost like with little finger-like appendages at the end. I'm saying appendages a lot. And at the top of the pancake glowing muffin top body thing, for each of them, two eye stalks come out with rather adorable eyes that regard you all as they notice you with curiosity.
So can I roll to identify whatever the fuck they are?
Yes, these would be Arcana.
Is that normal or disadvantage because Egga's stupid?
I'll give you normal. You deserve it.
In that case, it's a 14.
Anyone who would like to make.
Thank you.
But Ega doesn't know from a 14, for the record.
That's good, because if I had to roll with disadvantage, it would have been a 6.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
I didn't do any better.
Well, what was your roll?
Let's see. That is a... This font is kind of hard to read. 4 plus... You said Arcana?
Yeah.
That'd be a 9 total.
Oh, no. Evect?
Other
are
microphone.
Egga beat me by 1.
I'm gonna say none of you would necessarily... I will say, would James try to figure out what they are if you have a roll? If you don't, that's okay.
I don't have a roll for them.
Okay, excellent. James...
Where's the rep when you need him?
I know, right? Oh well. Oh well. None of you would know what they are. But as you all, I assume you all are approaching them. Still. You're like walking towards them.
Again, weapon drawn, yes.
I will say, Ega, roll me a perception check. Also, what are you thinking as you draw your weapon?
If they do something, I'll shoot them. Also,
Okay.
perception of 18.
The people around you do not react well as you draw your weapon, and you also see the creatures themselves briefly sort of flash like almost a dark orange color. Not red, but sort of like just a different pulse of color. And the eye stalks like almost narrow as they lean towards you. The people around you are giving you like dirty looks, that kind of like, what's that motherfucker? Like, what the fuck?
I mean, I'm hyper fixated on the floaty things.
As you do so, you all actually would hear a voice in your minds as one of them sort of seems to just stab like a tentacle, like wave a tentacle, like one of the
Jedi mind tricks.
You can see the picture. Like, imagine just sort of like almost little hands at the end of them, as one of them sort of like, just like sort of points one of them towards Ega. Do you think that one means to hurt us? I don't know.
I look over my shoulder. And then turn back because it's not the normal voice.
Endless.
We all hear this?
Oh yes, you do.
We don't wish to harm you.
See, that's what I thought. They're probably just travelers of some sort. Is that correct? I mean, you don't look to be from around here.
Where are the voices coming from? These are not normal.
Oh, we've spooked him, dear. It's okay. This is just us. This is just the way we talk.
Ega, friend, just put it down for now. You can maybe shoot someone later.
Lowering my bow.
You see both of them almost sort of like briefly shudder. Shooting someone, what a horrible concept, Blumph. It's all right, dear, don't worry. I'm sure they don't mean us. Well, what brings you here to our neck of the woods? Well, woods is a generous term.
This what I saw. I don't feel like this is what I saw.
These? Like, are you saying that in character or like
No.
out of...
Out of character.
Those are definitely what you saw.
Oh, okay.
They're, how do I explain this? They definitely are glowing with a light that this art doesn't do justice, but I could try and find art of how it looks when it glows, but this is definitely what you saw. I think I described it as a yellow light before. Now that you're closer, you can see that one of them is more of the sort of orangish yellow shade, and the other is closer to a lime green.
See, I know what they are, but Aga doesn't.
Yep, Aga doesn't know shit!
And I guess that I have no idea what these are either. Yeah, they're so cute though.
Oh, they are cute.
I have them on a magic card.
So since Effect
Yeah,
convinced...
there's not good art of them glowing, I'm sorry.
Since Effect convinced me to lower my weapon, I leaned to him and... Are the voices also in your head?
When you think about it, all voices are in your head.
Way to fuck with them.
You see Aga's face turn to terror, and he's just gonna crouch, hold his head down.
Is that one all right? Does he need medical attention?
He needs someone to not mess with him.
Everything in head.
It's
many.
all right. Little being. What is your name? Bill.
I got confused.
They'll sort of these two creatures will sort of turn and share a look, and Aga will stop hearing any such voices in his head. He will no longer hear anything.
I mean, nothing out of the ordinary.
The rest of you would hear the one on the left turn back to you and go, "Well, I hope that one's all right. We seem to be scaring him, so we cut him out of the link. I hope you feel better. Hello." Well, but what about the rest of you? Well, we speak telepathically, of course. That's why you hear us how you do. We can simply create a conversation within a group of minds. And, well, I mean, we don't really have mouths to... You see the tentacles sort of gesticulate around the front of this sort of flying saucer pancake being. Talk as you do, so this is simply the way we communicate.
Convenient.
Oh, Almighty.
choose who to include in this link?
Well, more or less. I mean, it's not an exact science, but, well, if we know that a creature is experiencing distress as a result of our actions, it's quite a motivator, shall we say. We don't like to cause harm to any creature. In fact, you see the flumps. Oh, that's what they are. Fuck, I let it slip. Goddamn it.
Right.
Okay, you don't know what they are. None of you know what they are because your characters don't know. But these beings sort of shudder and almost turn red for a moment before blinking their eye stalks and turning their attention back to you. Although you seem to be an innovator yourself, what is that one? We can't seem to speak with it, but it seems interesting. They gesture at Glor.
Of course. It is simply a construct.
A construct. How fascinating. And were you the one who constructed him? The other one sort of just shrugs its like tentacles.
Trying to think of if Finn would. Yes, I and a few companions.
Ah, these ones?
No.
Oh, all right. Well, what brings you all down to Undercaster? It's not too common that we see new faces. The humans who live up there don't like to come down here much.
Finn doesn't know.
We had an encounter with one of the little ones, Rix, I believe his name is. And that's actually asked.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, it is. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry. Yes, it is
Yay,
Rix.
I remember name. He had a bit of a bump, so we brought him back to his home. And then he apparently lost his mother too, so we went and found her.
The sort of like flatter one sort of does. I hope he didn't get into too much trouble this time. I mean, he's never tried to mess with us. We're popular with the children, of course, but oh, that rascal. Oh.
It seems that it was his mother who was getting into trouble this time, but I think she is safe now.
Ega just cracked his head like a coconut. It's fine.
Finn looks at him alarmed. Ega did... What?
You see the flump sort of pull a darker orange, almost red color once again, and the tentacles almost sort of furl in concern. You did what?
Are they directing that at me? Telepathically?
You can't hear any of this
No,
conversation.
that's why.
Because...
That's why I'm asking. But, well, technically, I'm hearing the conversation from the party side because I assume
That's true. You would
I
have heard
assume
that
they
part.
would talk out loud to
Sorry,
the
you're correct. I had to figure out what you meant. Sorry.
And so I was at
not necessarily. It seems to be. How do I explain this? You ever seen like in a movie when someone like mentions something and then like the old beat cop turns around and goes, "You did what?"
Yeah, that's why
like,
I'm asking.
Like that, but it's directed towards all. It's not necessarily directed specifically towards Ega.
No, that's why I'm wondering if they would, for that sentence, put me back in the link of you did what because they know I'm Ega. No, yeah.
No. It's directed back towards Evect who mentioned it.
Yeah.
The you seems to be a sort of collective you, as like they're like you all did what?
He's fine. He thought we were being robbed. It's a little jumpy if you hadn't noticed.
Yes, dear. He does seem a bit, well, disturbed. Bless his heart. I'm sure it's all right. I mean, we've seen Rix, and he's all right. I suppose so. All right, then. And you see them once again sort of relax and turn to their regular pulsating colors. Well, if that's all, we'll make sure to go check on them later, of course. Oh, Zarlene. I hope she's well, at least.
Wait, so if all voices are inside, am I talking now, or am I thinking?
Does he say that out loud?
Yes.
Lump,
You're talking.
are we sure he doesn't need medical attention? They really insisted he doesn't. One of the flumps sort of hovers over to him and sort of just like almost like is sort of just like staring down at him like.
Yeah, and I'm still sitting there like head between hands and then just looking down and thinking.
The flump is going to hover down next to his face and sort of make the following like gestures.
Hide the pain face.
Aww.
It makes like 3 of these and then just sort of does this with them.
I'm trying to follow all 3 at the same time, so I'm...
It stops moving them and sort of just holds them in place. Its eye stalks sort of like just regard you expectantly.
Yes.
And the one that has been called Glump floats back to the group. I think you got the message. I tried. Well, I'm glad that, I suppose you all have been able to do some good during your time here, and of course I hope you've enjoyed your stay. I mean, obviously taking care of one of our own is something we're grateful for, so if you need anything else during your time here, you can let us know. Otherwise, I think Blumph did want to go play with the children. And the more stoic one will give a little nod. Do you all say anything else to them? They're not necessarily leaving, they're just, you know.
They're basically preparing to leave, but I don't know.
They are no longer perpetuating the conversation.
It was nice meeting you.
Oh, it was lovely meeting you as well. You and your, construct, yes. That. It's nice.
I'll just put my hand on it and it'll like, Glor will like kind of push his head up into my hand. Thank you.
His name is Ega.
Oh, that one is also a construct? Then why can we communicate with it? Lump, do you... they both turn and just like look at you all.
No, he is not a construct.
But...
And it seems your communication with him is questionable, yes?
Is he or isn't he a construct?
The dog is a construct. Ega
Yes,
is
but that.
not. No, he is not a construct.
They sort of turn and just look back at Evict for a moment.
But you aren't talking to him.
They will float over to Ega, and Ega once again hear 2 voices in his mind. And the Glump will float down in front of him and basically do the following things.
Okay.
Hello! This is me talking. Oh. Are you Metal Dog?
You just see Aga pull up a fist and hit himself in the head like 3 times, like knocking on metal. No.
Are you a construct?
Vex would have done minor illusion to make the metal sound when he did that.
Oh, come on!
Roll me, how do I put this? Roll me your choice of Arcana or Deception or Performance to make it convincing. I know it's weird to give you all 3, but fuck man, just whatever you think would be most flavor appropriate to make it a convincing metal sound and appropriately timed.
And for me, it's this insight to find out, or is it just let's rule it as rule of cool?
You could do insight or straight intelligence. Up to you, honestly.
I will go with Deception because that get me up to a
shit.
22.
Sorry, did you say 22?
Yeah, you try, bud.
Yeah, let's just ignore the dice then.
Why did you fucking roll?
Because I can't roll higher in any of those than a 19.
Well, just try.
Even a 1, and that would just be amazing flavor.
What?
Why did you jinx it?
That one.
Yes.
All right, so.
This is gonna be interesting.
Okay, but the real question is, did it fool the flumps?
God, I guess after all fucking insight on the fucking... Well, no, it didn't. So, here's what happens. Ega goes to knock on his skull, and Ega hears 3 perfect metal rings. Ega made of metal? Head make metal sound. Head make metal sound. Head metal? Metal dog is I? Sort of line of thought. So, the flips also, you see their eye stalks sort of narrow and do this curiously as they hear that. So given that we're rewinding a moment, how would Ega have responded to that, given the circumstances?
Oh no. Am I?
Would he knock again?
No, I just sit there.
Okay.
The knocking was as a... And then the metal sounds... I am? What?
Just gonna look at Effect and say, why are you telling these untruths? Oh no, Finn has no tact. There is no shing Finn.
Aga
You
is
got the wrong one for
Aga
fun.
is in extreme distress because now he no longer knows whether he's an orc or a fucking construct.
The flumps will actually sense this distress, and you feel tentacles sort of descend on you and
Oh,
pat
no.
your shoulders comfortingly.
Bad choice.
If he would react violently, they would stop. But they
Yeah,
would go to do a
the-
comforting gesture.
Let's see. So I would proceed to run out of town.
So the flumps would float after you. They wouldn't try to touch you. I assume the rest of y'all are following, by the way. You would
I'm
see.
just full on guffawing at this point.
Finn is
Okay.
I am-
confused.
So
Finn does
the
not
flumps.
understand pranks. Basically, think Spock. This makes
yeah.
no sense.
So the flumps sort of float after him. So Ega hears, first of all, would see these things floating after him in the distance, and he would hear, "Don't worry, it's okay that you're metal, dog. Woof. We can play fetch. We can throw a stick." I don't think he wants to play fetch, Glumph. He seems very upset. Well, I don't know. We couldn't fix it by hugging him. I don't know how else to fix people's problems. Mr. Dog!
I love Glump so much. Finn doesn't understand, but I love Glump.
So, when running out of town, is there any
Uh-huh.
stalagmite close by?
I mean, yes. The answer would be yes. It is a cavern.
Shit.
Be afraid.
God damn it, I keep rolling it off my table. There we go.
What is the stupid man doing?
So that's a 20
Sorry, the
to
stupid
ram
metal
my
dog doing.
that's a 20 to ram my head into the stalagmite.
I mean, that it's against your own AC, I guess.
Yeah, it's just true.
So that hits.
That definitely hits. Will there be a
roll,
Is
roll
there?
me 2 things.
Okay.
Roll me piercing damage. Roll me 1d. Okay, start by rolling me a fucking luck check. Just there'll be a couple rolls here, so buckle up, motherfucker.
Okay, that's a 10 on the
I feel
luck.
like we broke the DM.
No regrets.
Roll me another luck check then, and 1d6 piercing damage.
Finn is still questioning
Plus
Yvette.
your
That's
strength
a-
modifier.
did
That's
you do
another
that?
fucking 10. And then you said a d6 piercing?
Yes, plus your strength modifier, like the what you would add to a melee weapon attack
And
damage
that's
since you're
an
using
8.
your body. Okay, so take 8 piercing damage, and remain conscious as the stalagmite pierces a part of your brain that likely is not overly necessary for your.
Oh no, it wasn't
function.
like I'm ramming my head into the spike, but more like when I thought of a stalagmite, I think of a big one where I just ram my head front.
Oh, so like the side. You're not trying
Yeah,
to
like
fucking impale your
no,
brain.
no, like banging your head against a wall.
Sorry,
I'll still
I
take
was
the. I'll
very
still take.
concerned for a minute.
Don't worry, I'll still take the piercing damage.
Well, no, it's bludgeoning damage if you're
Same
like
difference.
ramming it in. I mean, the key difference is that you're not attempting to fucking impale your brain and cause even more brain damage, which there's not a lot of downhill from here. Like, if there's a rock bottom in terms of brain function, you're close to it, buddy. So you're like 2 stops from Vegetable Town.
Cool.
Anyway, thank God that didn't happen. So.
But since Effect isn't close by, I don't hear a metal ringing sound when I do it, right?
You don't, unless Ivect sounds like he has not chased and is standing there laughing like full on.
Yeah, no, I have gotten more than my enjoyment out of this.
So as you ram your head into the stalagmite, you don't hear a metal ringing sound. You just hear the creatures floating behind you going, "Oh no, he's not okay. It's okay. We'll get help. Come here, little disturbed creature."
Head hurt.
Are you all right?
Do
I would have bet gold that he would have broken the rock.
construct bleed?
You're
No,
not
no metal.
construct.
Head hurt now.
I believe that. Why? Turning to Yvette. Why? What has he done to you?
I did nothing to him. He did it all to himself.
But why do you tell these untrue things?
To see how he responds.
Poorly.
Pretty good, eh?
The answer is poorly.
I don't understand why him damaging himself would be good.
I have to say, I agree. I mean, look at the poor dog. He's bleeding now. Oh.
He's not.
I'm dog?
Whatever that is, the blood metal dog person. I'm not entirely sure what's up with that anymore, but good boy. And the flumps will pat him on the head, like go to pat him on the head and then realize that he's bleeding and sort of just do a little air pat. Well, you really should get that checked up. Can we, the flumps are like trying not to touch you, but be like, can we get you to a healer or something?
I'll cast Cure Wounds.
Oh. Yeah, okay. As you do that, I do the most medieval warrior style first aid that I know.
Okay. I guess he's doing that at the same time as you're casting Cure Wounds, so I gotta roll me a perception check.
That's an
Well, I would
18.
say intelligence, but that's likely to go worse.
18.
You are able to notice that it is, of course, the spell casting from Finn that you see out of the corner of your eye, and not your fucking saliva that appears to close the wound.
I believe otherwise, and I choose to believe
Okay, fine.
otherwise.
If you notice that it happens, if you choose to believe otherwise, that's on you, dog.
Exactly.
Dog.
Got him.
I only have first level, but oh, I'm sorry. 4.
Accurate. First
I rolled
level
a 1.
butt.
It's about half of it.
Yeah, exactly. It's fine.
Sorry, I rolled a 1.
It's better than me slamming just saliva on it.
This is true.
So, as you all, do this and see this happen, the Flumps sort of like put their appendages together. Well, will that? And they point at Egga. Be all right? Will that be okay?
We will take care of him.
Okay. Well, enjoy your stay in Undercaster. We'll be around if you need
as
anything.
she said, is that gonna be okay? I'm just gonna do the same thing as when she was floating before me without the telepathy active, which is just thumbs up and a big grin.
I've seen someone try to disentangle themselves from an interaction that, like, if you ever seen someone be like, okay, yep, bye now, they sort of give you, like, the Glump sort of gives you the thumbs up and they sort of just float away, like, they have eye stalks, so even though they don't have mouths, they can give side eye, and it's sort of just like, as they float away. Leaving you all standing there with your bleeding, definitely not a metal construct dog Egga, and the rest of
Guess
you
I'm a dog.
contemplating what the fuck is life.
Guess I'm a
Which
dog
is
now.
Where is James in all of this?
I assume James has just been here. Sorry, I haven't asked. I will ask. What would James have been doing during this time? I guess.
They'd just be very amused at the moment. They're sort of just watching, like, get the popcorn. Like, it's all
Valid.
very amusing. I don't think they have much to really want to interfere. Just sort of watch.
Yeah, just kind of the episode of Jerry Springer moment.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Sorry, I didn't mean to skip over James. I just
No. You're
also
good.
cognizant of the fact that we usually have to end pretty much around this time, and I'm trying to, get us towards the ending so that no one is like, let me the fuck out. As you all stand there wondering what the fuck life is, Egga is not a metal dog and has a flesh wound covered in spit. And you all stand there existing in Undercaster, which is where we will pick up next time.
And at the end of the moment, I want to ask one thing out loud.
Yes.
Do constructs bleed?
I'll whistle Glor over and take my dagger and stab his paw and show that nothing comes from the paw, and Glor doesn't seem to have reacted to the pain at all, and say, "You are not a construct. Constructs do not bleed." And then Glor will
thank
heal
God.
himself or repair himself.
And we finish on this revelation, which is constructs do not bleed! Yay! We've learned
Egga,
so
learn
much.
something!
Also, sorry, this had more words than I expected,
Egga
but the
is
first
not-
2 anime outros I picked were fucking so.
And Egga is not a construct.
And Egga is not a construct. We have learned today. That's better. So, thank you all for joining us for another episode of Stupid and Stupider D&D edition.
I mean, I have constantly been announcing the stream as dumb orc and people.
Dumb orc
or-
and people.
or
And
at least
people.
something around, some sort of prefix with dumb orc in it, so they know what they're signing up for.
They do technically know, I guess. But in all seriousness, that's where we'll leave off because, I know it's past 10. So I will say, sorry that we started a little late, y'all. I hope you still had a fun session. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for bearing
Heck
with
yeah.
me. I enjoyed that quite a bit. So, and then I will see you all the 4th week of the month, which is
25th.
Yeah, it's the 25th, and I will post that.
Isn't that
The 24th.
Yeah. That's
Oh, fuck, that's Thanksgiving. Fuck,
Here
I
in
think
the
that's the
US.
session we decided we'd skip. So, I might. How about this? I will say actually, I should ask. I assume we're probably going to end up skipping that one. Would people try to prefer to reschedule that?
I'm fine just skipping.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like,
There's a lot going on that week anyways, so...
no, and how do I suppose? I'm totally fine with this. I want to make sure people are fine with skipping it, because then our next session will be the 8th.
Okay.
We've also got kiddo on Thanksgiving, so that would get
Okay.
challenging.
So, the answer is, I'm going to post this before I forget. In scheduling Meat World. Sorry, y'all can, like, if any of you all are like, God, let me the fuck out, you can leave. I will say thank you all so much, and I hope, like, especially given that we're missing next section, that the short session wasn't too bad. But I had a lot of fun. Thanks, y'all. I hope it was alright.
My face hurts from
I
laughing.
assume y'all didn't want to play later because, like, y'all have shit to do, but I was like, it's...
Where was I? That's already switched. Thank you guys for showing up. If you liked, leave a follow. If you truly enjoyed, consider subscribing or donating. As you just heard Milo explain, we're skipping the 24th, and the next stream for this campaign will be the 8th. Let me just check if there's someone left that I want to fucking raid. Is anyone online? No, they are not. In that case, I hope you all have a great night, and see y'all next stream.